The topic today is something about AI, and AI, as you all know, it is like celebrity gossip, right? Everyone hears a lot about it, make their wild imaginations, but not everyone knows a lot about it, right? They know very little about it. But in the last 2 years, I've seen that the focus is shifting, wherein because of the Gen AI, people started knowing a little bit more about AI, and companies like MoEngage have adopted that AI into real world use cases. And with our customer support, we have been quite successful in implementing those. So to discuss this further, celebrity gossip, I'm going to be inviting some of the panelists here. To begin with, Salihah, who is the head of digital and performance marketing at Boost. Then we have Ravi Shankar, the CMO of AirAsia, please. Then Melissa Sim, head of product and tech, iMoney. And we also have Rodrigo. Yeah. He is a GM of consumer services at CTOS. So anyone who follows Ravi on LinkedIn would know his, the kind of posts that he makes. Usually they are quite in-depth and to the point, which is very important. I recently saw your AI-generated post about marketing and the tips to marketers to benefit from all the technological advances. So Ravi, what is exciting for you when it comes to AI? What are your thoughts about AI and how it is being incorporated and used by marketers?
Oh, that's a good question. Just want to clarify first. I'm now with AirAsia Move, so that's why the green color. Just going back to your question of what excites me is, as a marketer, we've always been, our gods are all algorithms, right? So we're all here working on algorithms, right? If you're sending emails, we're trying to please Gmail algorithm, right? We're trying to please Apple's algorithm to push out notifications. All the social media guys are working towards the Facebook newsfeeds algorithm or Instagram newsfeed algorithm. For performance marketers, it's the search algorithm, right? So in one way, we're all trying to please the algorithms, right? How I kind of look at it is it's our chance to actually move faster than them. We can never catch up to them, but we move faster than them. The way I look at it is you can try things much faster with the help of AI and find that the probability of you succeeding is much higher when you have a Gen AI's help. You can produce more content, you can iterate faster, can measure faster and stuff, right? So that's how I kind of look at it, where you can, I don't know, my automation, it might be generating a few social media posts of mine while I'm talking here, right? So but I have a chance of going viral at some point in a Instagram algorithm. Before that, I had to do 20 videos of my own, which I never did. I'm just saying, right? So that's how I look at it, right? So we have a fighting chance until they catch up. So it's our chance to use those algorithms and try to get ahead of it and learn about it, right? So it's a very controversial statement. For me, it's using AI. It's more quantity over quality. I'm just purely trying to game the algorithm, right? I'm not really a creative guy. I'm not really good at creating something nice and stuff. I'm just put something dirty in there, a lot of things in there, and just try to win. That's how I look at it.
That's awesome. Yeah, quantity over quality, that's critical, right? Now, moving on to Salihah.
Hi.
You have been in this industry, telecom and communications, for a while now. We can even call you a veteran in that industry.
Not that old, come on.
I mean, 5 years in the industry is a veteran, so yeah.
Okay, I'll take it.
So you have seen certain transformations and evolution of technologies in that space. MoEngage, for example, in the last 10 years, where we were and where we are now. And now you're seeing the trend of AI. So how is the expectation for consumer brands in Malaysia specifically when it comes to AI adoption?
No, I love that question. But firstly, I would say, Ravi, I'm a fan. I do follow your LinkedIn post quite well. I think I learned a lot of technical stuff from Ravi's post. Please follow him on LinkedIn, please. But I guess I've actually had a privilege over 15 years to work in, I guess, three revolutions in that sense. The first is broadband or data, the birth of 3G, 4G, FTTH, and so on. I had the privilege to be part of e-commerce in the beginning days in Malaysia. Very privileged to be part of that, growth of e-commerce. And the third one is fintech, right? So I was one of the first e-wallets to launch in Malaysia as well. So very privileged. And I think, like when I first started my career, right, smartphone was non-existent. Very, very little penetration of smartphone. Mobile data was very wonky. We're not able to connect and download pictures. It takes a while. And camera in the phone, non-existent, right? It was just a concept. Some idea someone thought of, right? But I think you fast forward now, right? Smartphones everywhere. Usage of social media is everywhere. Information is at a click of your fingertips, right? And to me, that gives rise to the industry of e-commerce. Because without data being so prevalent in everybody's hands, you can't do e-commerce, right? And with e-commerce, data is so much everywhere. You'll see reviews, you'll see full 360 view of clothing, and it's not just items, right? It's also services, right? People can actually, comment and tell you whether this service is good or not. People can compare prices. People can, so much information. You literally can really buy anything from anywhere in the world, and it doesn't matter. It could be shipped from anywhere in the world as well, right? That's the current state we're seeing now. And to me, as a marketer, right, in the older days, in the beginning of 15 years ago, you shape what consumer want, right? You tell them this is what you want to be. This is what you want. This is what you need to buy. This data is the best data plan in Malaysia. Is that the case now? I don't think so, right? You can just easily go and debunk that myth, right? So I think marketers then need to move very quickly, right? It's no longer about shaping the communication to the users. It's about now really understanding what are the consumers' pain points, what they need, and serve that need, right? That's what brands need to do now, right? And I think in that, we rely a lot on data. We rely a lot on signals, what they want, which platform they go to, what time, what do they react to. We receive so much data. So I think that gives birth to, I guess, consumer empowerment, that's one, and also data-driven marketing, right? But, as we try to keep up, the demands get more and more because now, they say, oh, you always tell me what I want. You always know what I want, right? And just over the weekend example, right? Real life example, I had a friend, she was telling me, oh, she's so pissed that Instagram, one of the shops that she used to shop to, gave her some recommendation that has nothing to do with her style. And I was like, okay lah, maybe the algorithm not, in tune yet with you. She's like, I'm a customer for 2 years. They should know what I want. So that's the reality of consumer demand, right? Right at that point. You need to know what they want, when they want it, how to communicate, and what time they're comfortable to even buy with you, right? And in that sense, it's inhumanly impossible to keep up. There's no way a person can look at all these data points and decide this is the campaign I'm going to serve to that segment. It's no longer a segment of 1,000 or 1,000,000. It's a segment of one, right? So there's no way you can keep up. So I think AI came in like the perfect timing for this, I think, in the sense that AI can actually help you to analyze that data, analyze the segment, craft up or recommend good campaigns that you can run and actually automate that to test. And then summarize back that result for you. Of course, there's an ideal situation, right? There's probably a lot of integration you need to do to be able to get that kind of output. And Ravi would know best in this as well, right? But that's where I think AI plays such a crucial role today. And I think in terms of consumer demands, it will not get any less, right? With the implementation of AI, consumer demand is going to get more and more. In fact, I think at some point, people will expect you to exactly know what they want even before they want it. That's the expectation. Like, you must know I want this diaper right now. Like, why this shop hasn't recommended me this diaper yet? I think, there's a lot of ethical questions as well on that, whether you can actually predict people's, trends and all that. That's a different topic lah, right? So I think in Malaysia as well, the landscape, a lot of companies has implemented AI successfully. At least at Boost as well, we use AI quite predominantly in our day-to-day job. As a marketer, I use generative AI a lot. In terms of, we have a lending business, we also use it to, do credit scoring as well. So I think it's just going to get better and better lah, and that will fuel a tougher consumer demand that we have no choice but to meet, right? And AI becomes a very important tool in that.
Thank you for that. Now, you did mention you have a payment element to it, or what is it? An e-wallet?
So Boost is actually an e-wallet. We
Yeah.
started off as an e-wallet.
Yeah.
Now we have grown to a lot of different fintech services. And we're one of the first to actually get the digital bank license in Malaysia.
That's right. Okay. So moving on to iMoney now, which is in a similar space. So Melissa, you have been a head of product and technology at iMoney. How do you think AI is actually helping you with meeting your consumer demands?
All right. I think Salihah kind of covered it all.
Yeah,
just now.
that's right.
Well, no, don't be sorry. Thank you. Well, to be honest, we are still in the midst of going full on Gen AI, implementing AI into our platform. Well, AI is basically like how do I say? It allows you to see hidden patterns in a massive amount of user data that you have, right? Much easier now, right? So it's like a crystal ball for you to like anticipate or predict the future of what are the demands of the users. Like for example, we can actually like study and kind of figure out what kind of products that they would need in the future based on. Let me give you an example. When a customer comes to our platform and look for a credit card, we can actually now like analyze their how do I say, their personal lifestyle preferences, and financial data, and goals, financial goals. And from there, we can actually kind of match them with the right credit card, because there's so many types of credit cards out there, right? For example, if this person likes to travel a lot, then you would want to match them with a credit card that actually will suit their lifestyle. And also at the same time, we want to enable the capability for them to also know what is the probability for you to able to, to get the credit card approved. So that is the direction that we're heading towards with iMoney.
That's great. So going back to Salihah, I just have a follow-up question. You have so many technologies coming up, right? How do you actually prioritize which one to implement first to support your business?
Oh, that's a great question, right? Actually, a lot of marketers come and ask me what is it. I don't have an answer for you, to be honest, right? There's no one technology that you have to prioritize. No such thing. It really depends on where your companies are at, what are the tech stack that you have currently today, and who are the people that you have in your team, right? I think that's three most very important. A lot of people forget the people, right? You can have the best technology and no one running it. Okay, so important. But I think it goes back to your objective, right? Like what's the situation that your company in? What are your pain points? What are the objectives you're trying to achieve? That's very important, right? And then based on the objective, whether be it customer engagement, customer acquisition, understanding cost, ROI, right? Based on that, map it out, right? And then build a roadmap, right? And then, because of course, buying technology is not cheap, right? It comes with a really expensive cost. I mean, I know we're in the event via tech stack, but I'm saying, it does gives you a cost. So you have to understand what are your most important priority technology that you need to get right now based on your objective, right? But not just stopping there. I think look ahead, maybe 2 phases, right? So say phase 1, I need to buy a customer engagement tool, right? Maybe phase 3, I want a CDP. So in that sense, you can't afford a CDP right now, but you want to get there eventually, right? So structure your data in a way that one day when you do get the CDP, is not a revamp of your entire system, right? You already have the data there. So it's just more of like, how do I, ingest that in, right? So have that roadmap. I think it's very important in the beginning. I think, Ija is probably, one of those people who probably have to go through that, right? Is really understanding objective, your roadmap, and planning maybe 2 phases ahead on how you can achieve that right now so that you are prepared for it. That would be my answer.
So speaking of Ija, he did mention about retaining those customers and saving the churn has saved his company quite a bit. Now, all these customers who are engaged, it has been proven in various studies that they generate 50% more revenue for the businesses. Which means that you have to keep your customers satisfied and engaged all the time, at all times. Now, how do we ensure that AI is actually helping the cause, and not just automating the process, but how does it improve the customer satisfaction and experience overall? Can you shed some light on that, Ravi?
So question, let me get that clear. How is AI helping retaining the customers?
How do you ensure that AI is actually helping the customer experience and satisfaction, and not just automating the processes?
Yeah, I mean, we can look at it from two different angles, right? So what we're doing as a business to provide that customer experience to the consumer, and for a consumer, how is it experiencing it, right? The way I look at it is if the customer actually doesn't realize that it's AI, I'm not saying that you put a person and put AI that speaks as a person. Is in the day-to-day interactions with the product, if it doesn't come across as an AI, that's when I think you're successful, right? Just what are the right... Your Google Maps is one of the best AI. You don't really think about it, right? So your Gmail has best AI. You don't really think about it. The suggestions that you get on the apps has the best AI. You don't really think about it. We have to figure out a way where it is actually delivered to the customer, where they don't really explicitly do anything new at this point, but they get the best message and the best suggested action, and they actually feel value out of it, right? The moment you start any product roadmap or any product PRD, to be honest, if you write a PRD, a product requirements document, with some empathy towards the customer, then the question is whether you really need AI in there, or you can just run some random prediction or a linear regression to just do that, right? So I think that's first, rather than, okay, we have a new Gen AI tool, let me just implement it in my roadmap. Right? Yeah.
Awesome. So, Rodrigo, coming to you, how do you use MoEngage for personalizing and engaging with your users?
Okay.
Specifically around the AI component.
Okay, all right. So just to give some context about what is CTOS consumer service for foreigner people like me. Basically, we are selling consumer service. It's a digital service related with financial well-being. So it's quite difficult to sell. How we are using this in CTOS? We are using AI in 3 touch points or 3 ways. First of all is we are looking the best time for each consumer to receive the email or receive the communication. It's omni-channel, so receive the message in the right time is crucial in any digital service. I think all of us, we have the same problem, and we are all of us competing for the attention of the consumer. You are receiving 50, 70 push notifications per day, 30, 50 emails. That's crazy. So we are fighting for the attention of the consumer. Second one is more related with being more effective with the message. It's not the best time, it's what is the message. Any consumer has different needs. You need a credit, probably is same as iMoney. But basically the right message in the right moment. If we are missing the message, the consumer will unsubscribe. And it's always the same problem. It's very difficult to attract again the user or subscribe. The last one, I think, is more related internally with operation. Operationally, our team is pretty small. So Alden here and another guy from marketing is helping us. So with 2 people, we are organizing the whole marketing activity with MoEngage, and all the AI is helping to drive this right message, segment properly, and also doing the A/B testing.
Great. So about A/B testing, personalization, all these are, highly enhanced using the AI. So Melissa, when it comes to personalization, data privacy, and how do you balance both of these things? So as not, on 2 fronts. One is not to come across as creepy and scare your customers, and also to protect the data of the customers. How do you balance that?
That's a very, very good question. I'm glad you asked that. Well, first and foremost, for iMoney, data privacy and security is like a number 1 priority when we design the platform. And just to give you a bit of context, so Juris Tech actually owns iMoney, and Juris Tech basically powers like 70% of the bank's digital solutions. So we are very, very careful and very compliant, and we do make sure that everything is within the boundaries of data security. So there are a couple of ways how we do it to protect our users' data. For example, the first one is we are very transparent. We let them know how are we collecting and how we are using their data. And the second thing is we definitely do have the top-notch security measures in place. For example, like encryption, constantly penetration tests all the time to make sure that there's zero vulnerability. And of course, we do have like policies in place to make sure that and regular audits to make sure that our data security is in place, like everything. So yeah, so basically that is what we are putting up front before we, like for example, we will never ever compensate or for example, if like to integrate to some other platforms or anything, we want to make sure that the security is the first and foremost. So that's a top priority.
Perfect. Yeah, that's critical for any business, more so for a fintech, right?
Yeah, correct. Because once you get hacked and you lose all credibility and trust.
Right. Awesome. So coming back to Rodrigo, you did mention about A/B testing, right? So how do you test and optimize the engagement effectively?
Okay. We need to start from the segment of users. Our database is categorized in around 30 few segments. So we have different segments. Over these different segments, we are building A/B testings. So that means with low resources, we need to automate a lot of segments. So based on this, we are doing the full funnel. We are starting to test and doing the A/B testing, imagining the mail, subject, content of the email, and the landing page. This is out of MoEngage, but we need to have coherence between the whole message. This is one of the main challenges because you need to maintain the same message for each part of the test, each variance of the test. We need to maintain on the channel. We have also push notification, so you cannot send an email and in the push notification say a different thing. You need to maintain coherence between that. So as orchestrator, I think MoEngage is working really well to do this A/B testing because it can help us to maintain the coherence during the message. And basically, as part of the A/B testing, one of the challenges is how to be proactive. Instead of reactive, proactive, how to send this fear factor, this discount, or this another message that helps, and start to understand and learn from the consumer to send again the same message and the same conversation.
So going back to Ravi, I was reading this report published by PwC. It stated that by 2035, which is like about 10 years from now, AI is going to enhance productivity by 40%. So they're going to be releasing newer technologies, newer innovations, and all that is happening. And for a guy who is in the know of such upcoming trends, what is that exciting you the most? Do you have any specific technologies that you're looking forward to or innovations around the AI space that you're looking forward to?
I think we have to be very clear. Like you mentioned in the beginning, that there's Gen AI and AI, right? So we just use it interchangeably, right? So what we've been using AI for a while now, we just don't realize it. We used to call it data science when it was a buzzword. Data, before that, machine learning, whatever, all fall under the same bracket, right? AI, first, I think two parts to this question is how we use it. Is we use it via incumbents. That's how I believe it. I believe incumbents will get to the distribution faster than startups get to the innovation, or the other way around. Yeah, so startups, it's the other way around, sorry. So startups can't get to the distribution faster than the incumbents because they already have the distribution. So you can just, if you look at the big four of Google, Meta, and all those guys, they've already started implementing Gen AI in their suite of tools that they have. So you'll start to use it much faster, and then you wouldn't even realize using that, right? You'll adopt it. Is the productivity going to be up? I think whatever we're doing today, right now, if we actually use it, you can be 20-30% more productive already today. I can pick any example. As a marketer, I can write a far better visual briefs to the creative team than I used to before. Because I used to wave hands saying, this needs logos needs to be here, this needs to be here, the person needs to be crying and stuff. No, I just write a prompt. This is it. It's 10% there, but for them, it understand they can generate a perfect one by doing it in their Photoshop or whatever, but the reference is there. A lot of back and forth is done, right? Are the marketers using Midjourney or DALL-E to write the briefs is the first question. It makes them productive, right? If I'm a performance marketer, I remember optimizing my campaigns with eyes 10 years ago. And then I started to download the data into Excel. And then, database came in, queries came in, and visualizations came in on top of that. Now I downloaded stuff and put it in the code interpreter, and then I just ask for the insights. I have a personal data scientist in my mobile. I pay for the paid version of the GPTs. Sure. Am I more productive? Yes, I'm taking a better decision on those campaigns today, or not. I'm faster decisions. So if I want to be productive, I'm already productive. Pick anything. Pick social media. I can generate faceless videos much faster. Minimum editing, right? I've just generated this tool. It's called Creatify, which integrates with the all backend of Shopify, all the marketplaces. I just gave a URL, and it created a UGC type video where a person is sitting in a car and talking about the product. I didn't give the product details. I didn't write the script. I didn't choose the avatar. It's just, if you have a Shopify website, it can generate an ad for you today. That is, it's a free tool you can all try now. Comes out with a watermark, but you can pay for it. That's 50% more productive, 80% more productive. I think we are kind of there if you want to be productive, right? It's like Excel, right? So 90% of us knows the basic functions of Excel. The other 10% knows how to write macros and automate a lot of stuff. That's how it is. That's how I see it. How well you use and adapt AI to be that productive. Yeah.
So it is not just 40%, it could be much higher. That's what you reckon?
It is already 40% from a marketing perspective if you want to use it. I don't know if filmmaking will change with Sora, right? But they still have to figure out the layers. You can't really do the edits, but it's the part of it, right? I'm more excited about how it plays into pharma and genetics and there, right? If it can solve real world problems, then generating an ad copy for me, that's what I'm more excited about. But at this point, we are there, right? Yeah.
Thanks, Ravi. I'm actually done with my quota of gossips. I'm opening the floor open for all of you to jump in and ask any questions to the panelists here.
Hi, my name is Mervin. My team and I are here. We are from Maybank. I understand in terms of the perspective, in terms of using AI with your everyday, probably as a marketer, you would use it part of your engagement, right? And coming to the fruition of a campaign or your mechanics. It's easy if you say there's no that if you're in a business where that you are an entrepreneur and you already have certain growth, you have certain distribution, and you have certain control in terms of the security, what you can Lego a little bit, right? But how do you actually propel this initiative with example like a bank? Because we are highly regulated, governed. I think rightly shared just now, right? With even juries working with the bank, right? How do you convince them? Because as an innovator, right, you need to have a tipping point. Let's say out of 10, you have probably about 6 or 7 people who have the same vision and they believe that AI can change, and you can tip off the balance. But you need the numbers, right? So maybe you can shed some light on this.
Okay. Thanks for the question, Mervin.
Yes.
Yes. I don't think I can divulge much, but I am actually leading the Gen AI initiative for juries. So that is something that we are already addressing. So what we can do is, instead of basically, okay, first of all, it's quite difficult to limit the RMs, all right, or the officers in the bank to like not put personal data or customers' personal data onto the GPT and just send it up to the cloud, right? So there is a way we can actually just do this on-prem. Basically have an AI on the premise of the bank within the boundaries of the bank's security. So we can train AI to actually do all those work for them. So in that way that, you know, we do not like cross any kind of regulatory, breach any kind of data privacy policies or whatnot. So that is something that we are already in the midst of working on to help automate tasks, RM's tasks especially, right? Because 50% of the time spent as a relationship manager is data entry, right? They have to analyze annual reports, audits, bank statements, and they have to go and assess whether, you know, to actually offer, like, especially for wholesale banking, right, or SME banks, to give a $5 million or $50 million leasing. So it takes a lot of research and time, which can be done by just uploading all those data into the onto our server, and then it'll just do the recommendation and tell you what the gap analysis, how can the applicant actually do better, so that, you know, can ensure they have a higher chance of getting the loan. So we are gonna try to create an AI just all locally for the banks.
We had a quite similar situation, and also CTOS is regulated by there are a lot of regulators as banks. We are starting depersonalizing the data. We are sending from the backend, from our database, the information to MoEngage in real time, but we don't know who is this person. So it's just a unique ID. It's not the IC. Of course, you cannot put the IC into. It's very restrictive, the regulator on this.
All scrambled, yeah.
Yeah. So from this number, you start to learn. From this user number, you start to learn what is driving, what is not driving, what is working, what is not working. But you are creating segments, and it's like in Google Analytics, it's everything depersonalized, and you need to identify how this cluster is matching with these products. Basically, it's how we are trying to simplify, and how AI is doing this is offering the right thing to the right person in the right time. It's always the same situation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I can just add a bit of light to that, right? Maybe less technical, I guess, in that sense. I'm a marketer. I would say, like, you know, in the beginning, I think when Boost wanted to do AI, apart from the technical of scoring of lending and all that, even because I deal a lot with API data, right? Because I'm from consumer engagement, right? I actually had a lot of pushback from regulatory and compliance about the risks of it being published, blah, 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 right? So I think when we started small first. We say, okay, let's control environment, start with one campaign. Let's see if the result's good, then we can test 2 campaigns and so on. So I think sometimes start small helps. You might want like a perfect AI solution that can automate everything, but maybe start one thing that you think you can control, and then it can go bigger beyond that. Like that would be my take for you, right? Because I work in Axiata, so it's very hard to move them. So, yeah.
I heard from Ravi that you said that there's a difference between AI and Gen AI. And it's also about like how this AI should be invisible, like Google Mail or Google. But what do we feel about like AI becoming more visible? We are seeing robots now, ChatGPT robot. And how would that change the future, like near future? Like, should AI be very invisible, or do we want to see this AI thing become like, oh, hi, Mr. AI, how are you doing now? Don't kill us.
Sorry, I think that's a very subjective question, right? Yeah. Do I want a AI servant in my house at some point? Sure, if it's cheaper, right? So
Don't run away.
yeah. So yeah, of course, right? So I mean, how do I feel about it? How do anybody feel about it? Is if I'm using it. I mean, if you use enterprise Gmail, or if you pay for Google One, you already have all the features baked into your Google Suite already, right? You'll start using it, right? So everybody said phones are creepy, right? I mean, when we can't live without it now. Everybody's saying that, you know, headsets are creepy, right? The VR headsets are creepy. I'm pretty sure in a few years somebody here will be wearing those. So I think it's just will adapt and grow that in a way. And personalization and privacy. I don't know. No amount of personalized communication from any business didn't creep me out yet. Nothing. I mean, except for sometimes I just feel like, I'm talking about something with my friends and family and I see an ad on Instagram. I mean, forget Meta. But except that, I haven't received a notification or an email or a suggestion on any website or a widget on an app that says, oh, this is creepy. Haven't faced anything so far. I felt delighted. Oh, okay, this is handy, but never creeped out.
What I'm trying to get is like, do you think AI is going to be more visible, like the robot thing, or it's going to be more invisible, like the Google Chat or Google Mail thing? Like, where do you feel like AI is going right now? Like, is it going to be?
I think it goes both ways. Right? You have applications, you have physical devices. Rabbit R1 launched, Humane AI launched. Right, they are AI only devices, which has very crappy reviews, by the way. But right now, but yeah, that's visible, right? I don't know if anybody has any perspective on it, but it just depends on the application and preference. Yeah.
All right then. So if there are no other questions, thank you so much for your time, panelists. It was a pleasure hosting you here. Thank you.